was like a fun game. I'm like, they put it really high. I'm short. I'm like 5 feet tall. So if they're really tall, I'll literally like jump up and just give it a high five on there, like Super Mario jump with the the stance and everything. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Small Talk Tuesday. I am your host, Jennifer Razon, and today we actually have some sunshine in the weather, which actually feels pretty nice. It's actually, I believe, let's see here, 69 degrees, which is close to 70, which is like springy like weather. Spring is coming up, really, if you think about it. We're literally just finishing the first official week of March, so within the next week, spring will be here. The spring equinox, is it equinox or solstice? Equinox, right? And then there's the summer solstice, and then fall equinox, and winter solstice. Yeah, I think that's how it goes. But yeah, spring equinox. Well, you say spring. Anyways, but so far doing good. I actually went on my final long run for the training of the LA Marathon today. Felt really good. My knees are feeling 100% compared to a few weeks ago, so I'm very, very happy about that. We are actually in our taper weeks right now, which is pretty much just making sure we're recovering as much as possible and not running as many miles as we did during training. So it's actually felt pretty good to kind of just wind things down a bit and, kind of reset the body, which is nice. I'm just feeling pretty good, and I think we're gonna be okay for race day. I think as long as I'm keeping pace within what I've been doing the last week, we should be fine. We are about 7 days out as I'm recording this, so things are starting to pick up in terms of, anxiety and emotions. Last week I mentioned that, we've been training for this marathon for 4 or 5 months. Some of us, or some people even longer, especially if this their first time in getting into running. So it's really like a jumble all at once. I don't know if you runners will feel the same way as I have, but this last week it's pretty much just me trying to, distract myself from thinking too ahead in terms of what's going to come for the race, but also with regards to my runs, it was pretty much getting myself to not go on my normal running pace. As runners, we tend to like go full speed, at the start, and then we realize, oh no, we went too fast, and then halfway through the run, you realize like you want to stop or you want to slow down really bad. But I think I did okay. I mean, hopefully, according to my Strava workouts. I talked to a couple of runners here and there, and it's like they're on the same boat of, not pushing yourself, especially these last 2 weeks. So we'll see. I mean, distracting myself as much as possible. Of course, like going on my daily walks is another thing. It's always good to go out and get some fresh air here and there. My walks don't really go as fast as I normally would. I just kind of go at a leisurely pace to kind of, just to get out. I mean, I working from home, you get kind of cabin fever, so I enjoy those moments I get to get out and just smell some or breathe in some fresh air. But it's been all right overall. speaking of which, these last 2 weeks, today's topic at hand is pre-race anxiety or pre-race jitters, as someone like to call it. It's I think it's a thing, especially, again, we've been working hard these last few months, and you've kind of suppressed a lot of the emotions that we had in terms of this race. So a lot of it will start coming out more, like nerves and your anxiety, just those worries of like, am I going to be able to finish? Or if you're injured, like, am I going to be recovered in time to be able to go on that start line? Like, should I still do it? If I'm going to go at a slower pace, that's not going to, that's going to pretty much like blow my expectations of the time I want to finish and all these things. So you're starting to kind of overthink these things. Like sometimes we think it's the most simplest things, but we like to overthink things or goes to the worst possible situation when it doesn't have to be that way. I do that a lot. I don't know. Let me know if you're in the same boat, because I think as humans we just tend to overthink in general about a lot of things because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. So it's just a matter of we're trying to prevent the worst possible outcome. But I think it's one of those things like the more you think about it, the more you're kind of making it somewhat into or bringing it into fruition, I guess. So a lot of my mindset has been really just to kind of block all that out as much as possible. Not think of any of the the negatives. Keep it on the positive. Like I get to run with so many amazing people that day. I think more than 20 plus thousand will be running that day, or 30 plus thousand from what I recall before, at least from the pre-pandemic days. And being able to see all the crowds out there cheering for us, really just to, be able to like, you can do it, you could finish. The ones that I love are the ones that have like the Super Mario kind of little mushrooms or the stars, like 1-up, and then they'll high five whatever poster it is or give them high fives. I love doing that actually. It's one of those things I remember from my last marathon I did quite a bit. And it was like a fun game. I'm like, they put it really high. I'm short. I'm like 5 feet tall. So if they're really tall, I'll literally like jump up and just give it a high five on there, like Super Mario. Super Mario jump with the the stance and everything. I don't know. I'll likely film it if I do that again this year. I mean, I'm sure there is, but yeah. And just being able to meet so many runners out there. Hopefully, I get to meet some of you guys out there too. If you see me, I'll likely be in the open corrals. Since I haven't run the marathon in a while, I wasn't able to get any of the seated corral positions. So I'm in the open corrals. So if you're there too, or anywhere near that area before heading into the corrals, come by and say hi. I would love to see you guys. For those of you who watch and listen to me ramble on, and it's really great to just feed off that energy of like, we're all in this together. We're not racing anybody else except for ourselves, if you think about it, because we set our expectations of like, we want to finish at this time, or we want to reach a goal of something. But mine really is, well, generally you want to have like an A, B, C plan. A plan is like you want to sub whatever time. B plan is, just to get into the cross that finish line. And if you have a C plan, just to either, take into account like what your situation is at that moment, whether to continue or not. It's completely up to you. But let's see. My A plan, I would like to finish under a sub 5. My 2 previous marathons, I finished over 5. I'm not the fastest runner ever. I never, mentioned, I was ever that fast. If you've watched my vlogs, you could literally see my pace, pretty much my overall pace of it. So a lot of it was between the 11-minute mile times, between 11, 12-ish around there. So not too worried about that. But hopefully, if I keep my momentum as I've been practicing these last few months, hopefully I could do a sub 5. If not, plan B would just be to finish. Really, I mean, just to be able to cross that finish line and cheer on others as well. That's pretty much the fun of it, and just enjoy being on the road with so many others that day. I mean, one of the reasons why it's kind of my favorite, it's really one of the only ones I've actually ran, is that there's an amazing energy in the air, especially when you're running through Southern California and through a lot of the scenic areas of LA, really. Dodger Stadium, Hollywood, Beverly Hills, some of the local communities like Echo Park, Silver Lake, those ones in between. So a lot of like fun overall areas, and it's one of the reasons I like the vibe of it, because the energy is just amazing overall. I'm looking forward to that. So those are my A and B's. So A, that would definitely be awesome. B, that would definitely be awesome as well. So I'll keep it at that. We are now in the final week of marathon training. It's really just a taper week, as I mentioned earlier. So we're really just keeping it chill as much as possible. I'm still running. I think this last week I have maybe less than 4 miles at most. It kind of goes 4, I think, and then 3, and then 2. And then the usual 2-day cross trainings. And then I have the LA Big 5K, which is the Saturday before the full marathon. And that'll be really fun. That's like a loop around Dodger Stadium and around Elysian Park. It's a fun one, and it's really cool just to finish at Dodger Stadium, and just seeing all the people out there the morning of. The vibe of that is cool too, and it's a good shakeout run too. I'm considering that as my shakeout run, just to help me kind of, fully relax. I won't be running it in full speed. Probably during my easy pace. So I'll probably be in the backpack for that one. Looking forward to that. As far as the expo goes, I will likely be there probably midday Friday, I believe, because the first day of the expo is Friday. So I'll be picking up all my bibs for the 5K and the marathon, and then checking out what the expo has to offer, all the little tiny freebies that they probably have on there. It's one of the things I like, looking around for. And maybe find like a green shirt, because it is going to be St. Patrick's Day on marathon day. So I got to find something green. I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of my clothing in terms of running is pretty dark. Well, black, really. Like black running pants, black shirts. On occasion, I will have the white sweater. But yeah, I need any green, something green. Like I don't know, maybe a bandana or something, or a shirt. So we'll see. Because the last thing I need is to be punched in the arm or pinched for not wearing something that's not green. Maybe I'll put some ribbons or something. Well, probably don't have green ribbon. I got a week. I'll figure it out. I think. But yeah, then overall, that's pretty much my plan for that weekend. During the week, just pretty much keeping it chill and distracting myself as much as possible from not thinking about, too far ahead in terms of what's going to happen on race day. Aside from, waking up before the crack of dawn and making sure I get to the stadium. I think on race day we start at 7. I read it the other day when I saw the final instructions and whatnot pop up. I think it's right after when the elite goes at 6:45, I believe, if I remember correctly. Luckily, it'll be daylight savings already, so we won't have that problem of springing forward on the day of. So I remember in 2020 when we ran that one, it was the day of daylight saving. So we all lost an hour of sleep. So I think I only got like 2 hours of sleep that time. So it's one of those things too, like the anxiety kicks up more the night before because you're so nervous that it's hard for me to sleep properly. I'll toss and turn for like a couple hours and then get a little bit of sleep and then wake up, go back to sleep and then wake up. It's almost like making sure I don't miss my alarm when I know I have to be somewhere. My body is fully aware of like, I guess, the time constraints, but in a weird way where it's like it wakes you up in the most ridiculous time going, it's not time yet, but I'm waking you up. I'm like, thanks. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, body. And one of the many things that, for me at least, helps bring that anxiety down is to meditate daily. I do about 10-minute meditations a day just to help me kind of bring down the, mind just a bit. And it does help. I've been actually meditating for the last, I don't even know how many years, maybe the last 10 years. It's something that I do daily, and it helps quite a bit in terms of bringing my anxiety down. And kind of helps me refocus myself, not being too caught up too soon, I guess, in terms of certain situations in my head. But it does help. One of the things I think I've mentioned before is like how I find running to be meditative. And I still believe that to this day. So when I'm out there, doing my training runs, I love it when it's able to help me kind of block out any of the surrounding things in my head and just focus on in terms of, what I have to do at that moment. So it's great, and it helps to bring down the anxiety quite a bit. I know I'm going to need that even more this next week because, I'm nervous. I don't know, let me know if you guys are nervous. For you who are running, are you nervous? How are you feeling during this last week? What do you do to calm your nerves, actually? That would be amazing. Like, do you meditate? Do you, I don't know, go outside and just drink a cup of coffee and just listen to the birds? Let me know what you do to calm yourself, especially for race day. If you're new, or if you're new to running, what do you do to calm your nerves, knowing that, especially if this is your first marathon, what is one of the things you've been doing to calm yourself in those moments where you feel like, your anxiety is going to start picking up? I'd love to hear what you guys do to bring it down just a bit. Go with the flow, as they say. Pre-race rituals. I'm trying to think what I normally would do before the race, like especially the day before. I would lay out what I'm going to be wearing, what I'm going to be bringing with me. For example, my pack, my gels, things that I know I'm going to be putting in my gear check bag. I'll put that off to the side next to it. And, and of course, like post it on Instagram, my lay flat. Otherwise, I guess, if you don't have a picture of it, it's not going to happen, or not happening, or doesn't exist. A lot of stretching the day before. That's one of the things I'd like to do. And then the morning of, I'll have, my pre-race mini breakfast. I don't like to eat too much before a race, but just enough to kind of keep me satiated until we start running. And then, of course, I normally, the way I kind of like I don't know if this is like a superstitious kind of way. It was like I usually put my left shoe first before my right shoe, just to kind of, I don't know, it's like a ritual, I guess. Like, put shoe, tie it on, left shoe, and then right shoe, tie it on. What else is like a ritual to me to help me keep calm before the race? Definitely meditation. I do meditate at least 5 to 10 minutes before the race. I try to, at least, if I could find a decent spot where I won't be bothering anybody or not in anybody's way. Warming up. That's another important ritual that I do for pre-race, and then just getting into the start corral. But yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I'm pretty simple. I don't like to fuss over a lot of things, and I just want to make sure I'm comfortable too. That's kind of the important thing, is especially when going into a race. I definitely gauge how my body feels like, so that way I know whether or not to continue or pursue something, or pursue going for the race. So luckily, knock on wood, that I haven't had to back out just yet. So we're keeping more knocking on wood to get some good vibes going here and keep it that way. I love running too much to give it up. I mean, I have ran through injury before, and it's one of those things where like I shouldn't have done it, but I feel really weird if I don't. It's kind of like when you don't exercise for a little bit and you try to get back into it, and then it feels weird because it feels like you're starting over again. I was looking at the weather for the race weekend, and at first it said 82 degrees, which kind of worried me a bit. I was like, that's going to be hot. I wasn't training for that. And then the next day, it went down like 8 degrees. So it was like 73, 75. So I think it'll be okay. It may be a little warm, I have a feeling, but as long as we all stay hydrated, we should be okay. There's definitely a lot of aid stations out there, and definitely people handing out snacks and waters, especially if you're not going to be bringing your hydration vest whatsoever. So there's going to be plenty of help on the route, so which is great. I love it. And all the people out there just handing you like free donuts. I'm looking forward to that. Actually, is like the free little. If someone has like those munchkin holes from Dunkin', those are great little snacks on the on the route. I will have one Rice Krispie treat with me, just for good measure. Hopefully someone has some Rice Krispie treats out there. That would be awesome to grab on the route. I've had before donuts. For sure I've had donuts. I've had pretzels. Orange slices I've had before. I've seen people, I don't know if they're still doing it, but there's one part near, I want to say downtown Los Angeles, where you pass Echo Park. This one little stand has like chili dogs, like full-length chili dogs. I was tempted to get one, but I didn't want to risk my stomach for it. So I wonder if they're there still. That would be awesome. If you pass by it, it's like chili dog. That actually sounds pretty good right now as a chili dog. Yeah. I mean, some of the foods I've seen on the route is hilarious, ridiculous, funny, but also amazing at the same time. Definitely, there's gonna be some. I know there's like people handing out like gels or candies. I've seen candy, like gummy bears and whatnot, being passed out for people who need the sugar. God, there were so many. I'm trying to remember. Even was like 4 years ago that I last ran that marathon. But it was fun. I loved it. I'm looking forward to race day. It's been a long time coming, I guess you could say. I'm excited to meet many of you out there en route. We're all gonna have fun. I would say don't worry, but I know we're all gonna worry. That's just how our minds work. But we're gonna have fun. We're gonna meet so many new people. We're gonna PR. We're gonna finish. We're gonna get those awesome medals this year. I don't know if you've seen it already. I think the LA Marathon Instagram account had posted a picture of the medals and how they look like this year. They look pretty awesome. I gotta say, it's got the 4-leaf clover on there, and the way it's designed, where it's like where the ribbon holds it is like almost like half it's only attached on one side. It's pretty cool. You gotta look it up. It's on their Instagram account, so it's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to running the 5K as well. It's gonna be a weekend full of fun. So I hope you all are recovering this last week. We put our bodies through so much physically in these last few months, and our time to shine is upon us, as the saying goes. So we'll leave it at that. Don't want to take up too much of your time here because I'm gonna probably go take a nap. Naps are good. If you don't know, naps are amazing. It's like one of my favorite pastimes is taking a nap. Even if it's just like power nap, 12-minute power nap, they're amazing. Gets you back to 100. But then half the time, it ends up being like half an hour to an hour nap. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, raise your hand if you like naps. Or put a thumbs up in the comments if you like a nap. Or like those, the double hands. Let's do the double hands. The double hands up if you like naps. Put that in the comments. Anyways, come back next week as I will have the full marathon reaction on this podcast. I'm looking forward to sharing my thoughts on it, what the experience was like, overall just a verbal recap of how the marathon went down for me. So stay tuned for that. I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. But for now, go rest up, take a nap, enjoy this week, and recover. As all the hard work we've been putting through is coming down to this. So thank you so much for listening. If you're new to this podcast, do follow us and subscribe to wherever platform you are listening from. Thank you so much again. I really do appreciate it. And lastly, before I forget, we're doing pretty well on the charity marathon. We're just a few hundred away from reaching that goal. So if you'd like to donate to help get us across that finish line, so to speak, do go to the website down here, which is ourhope.cityofhope.org/5footrunning 2024. Again, that's ourhope.cityofhope.org/5footrunning 2024. There you will see all the information you need for why I chose City of Hope as my charity, why I'm running the marathon, and of course to donate. All your donations go straight to City of Hope. None of it goes to me. And pretty much it'll help with the patients there, as well as the amazing research that they've been doing in terms of the advancements in treatments for cancer, diabetes, and HIV. And this is a cause very special to me. As you know, I've known many patients there these last few years, especially my good friend Ian. And, it's a place that's done so much good in helping people fight the good fight. So again, visit ourhope.cityofhope.org/5footrunning 2024 right now. I really do appreciate it. And for you all to be coming back each week, even in watching my vlogs, I really do appreciate it. It's something I enjoy greatly, and sharing my life or portions of my life with you all. So I hope you enjoy watching them and following along. So stay tuned. We got plenty more coming up, so you don't want to miss out on any of it. But until then, I'll see you all next time. Ciao.